Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. And we have to ask, is Sturgeon having mental problems? Is she going insane? Has she got Alzheimer's? Is she some kind of deteriorating brain rot? Who knows? But what's coming out of her mouth seems to indicate this. Now, we know she's never had a very good memory and she's always lied every time she's ever spoke, but this is just beyond belief. Now, obviously, with her book sales declining because nobody wants them and it's rejected, it's going to be £1 in a minute in the old rejected bin, isn't it? She's going around and doing interviews trying to boost sales and interest in her life. Nobody's interested, love. We don't care. You're a horrible little woman. Bitter. But she was being interviewed with Emily Maitlis, her bestie. And she's basically trying to renew her war in words with J.K. Rowling. And yet the thing she's saying is very weird. She claims that she doesn't have a problem with J.K. Rowling, and then says that she is talking about Rowling being gratuitously cruel to trans people. Not gratuitously, no. We see what trans people do. We see that it's the sort of things that end up with commentators like Charlie Kirk murdered, for example. It's her who's cruel. It's her who's spreading the hate, not J.K. Rowling. So she was on this podcast with the BBC with like I say, Emily Maitlis, who's awful and bigoted and so left wing. She was the one who went, wee, remember when Labour won the election, but she's not so wee now, is she? But she was going very easy on her. She was only asking the silly, inane questions, nothing deep, doesn't want to know the truth. No, just wants to ask the questions that she's been told to ask by Sturgeon's people, because otherwise Sturgeon won't look like Saint Nick, will she? She'll look like what she is, nasty little shart. But she said that just weeks after stepping down back in 2023, God, was it that long ago? And the police were there with a little blue murder tent outside the house that she shared with her beard and pretend husband Peter Murrell. And she said that people, there's this blue tent erected in the garden like you'd murdered someone. She said, "Do you think the police overreacted?" Well, yes, she did. She was very angry about it, and she had a word with her mate Dorothy Bain. Even Dorothy Bain couldn't stop the police on this one because procedures. But she said, "I wouldn't. I'm going to say no, they didn't." She said, but she did. It's a lie. She absolutely thought they had. And then she was talking about all the brutal things that happened to me. She's trying to make us feel sympathetic. She's the one giving out the punishment beatings. I've got no sympathy for her. She said it was a brutal thing to happen to me. No, it wasn't brutal enough, in my opinion. You should be doing time for the crimes I think you've done, which I'm not going to say because, protect myself, but in my opinion. But she said that it was all performative. They had to give the impression. Brutal. My God. Things that woman's done to people of Scotland's brutal. But then she goes on about the gender reform bill. She said it wasn't controversial. Yes, it is. When you want men to go in and watch young girls undress, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's controversial. And it makes you wonder what kind of person you are that you'd even think it was normal. She said she didn't properly engage with people. No. You did properly engage. You told them exactly what you are. You told them that you want men to gawk at young women undressing, girls undressing. You were telling people that you are sexually perverted and a predator, in my opinion. She said, these concerns are unfounded. Well, they're unfounded until you actually look at the government's own figures on crime, and that trans people are 12 times more likely to commit sex crimes than non-trans. So not really unfounded, is it, you strange little beast? And that's how we go. She's sitting there and she's just talking sheer and utter shite. It's all that comes out of that gash of a mouth, isn't it? Shite. But she says that she thought the temperature was raised by J.K. Rowling. No, Rowling was protecting women and children. You were attacking them. And remember, this is the same woman that couldn't call a man or a woman because he didn't know what he was. He was a man, even though he was a rapist. And in Scotland, rape can only be committed out by a man. So there was never a question about it. but she had to try and force the issue, and then slipped up so many times because the mouth overtook the brain. This is what this woman is. She is toxic, and yet is trying to present herself as some kind of Saint Nick, some saintly stateswoman who stands above it all for the good of her people. God help us all. What a toxic wee shy she truly is. Let me know what you think. You know what I think. Thanks a lot. Bye.